Hello and thank you for joining me at Go Beyond Betty. Today we're going to make some tomato soup. There's a lot of different methods out there for making tomato soup. This is one inspired by Florence's recipe. I did get to meet him in person. He came to Okinawa and put on this big dinner for people, and we were able to get tickets and enjoy his delicious food. So I did buy a couple cookbooks and he signed them for us. And this is one of the recipes that we use probably at least twice a year. We make a big batch of the soup. It freezes so well in those quart bags. And again, whenever you have like a busy night and you have some fresh bread or even frozen bread, you can make grilled cheese in that tomato soup, and it is the best you can even imagine. It's an awesome evening. So let's get started. I'll show you how to make this awesome tomato soup. These 2 boxes of tomatoes are about 3 weeks to a month different. And let me show you what I do to keep my tomatoes looking amazing. I'll show you something that I have in my pantry that most people would not know to put in there. But I keep all of my tomatoes in here. Now these I just got today at the farmer's market. They said they're from Florida. I hope they're good. These 2 guys I got at Costco 6 weeks ago. 6 weeks. Crazy. And look, it's not like mushy gushy. They always kind of sell, underripe ones anyway. So they've been in here completely fine for 6 weeks. Has a little indentation from the bottom there, but very happy to just keep them somewhere dark, slightly cool, and they'll be happy. All right, so to start out our soup, I'm gonna quarter up some tomatoes, about 2 pounds or so of tomatoes. I've got about 6 cloves of garlic and a couple small onions, doesn't really matter what kind. So I'm just gonna quarter everything up, put it on the silpat, toss it with a little olive oil, salt, and pepper. All right, they're ready to go in the oven. Again, it doesn't matter how much oil or what kind of oil, salt and pepper, whatever. Just season them up good, put them in a hot oven. I'm gonna go with probably 425 maybe. I want it pretty hot. And I'm gonna just let them sit in there, rotate, and I just want them to caramelize. I'm probably not gonna move them around much. I just want them to get a nice color on them. So they spend about 25 minutes in the oven. I'm gonna put them into my Vitamix. You could easily use an immersion blender. Since these are really hot, I'm actually going to use some cold broth that I made the other day at the same time, because otherwise you're going to have to vent the top because it's going to be super steamy and crazy hot and could be blowing up. So hot tomatoes plus the cold broth, we should be fine. Here is the first half of the tomatoes and first half of the broth. All right, in we go. Most recipes would probably have you putting this through some kind of sieve to get out any of the tomato skins, but using a really good blender, and I let it go for about 30 seconds, you can really get all the skin completely dissolved, and it's good for you anyways. All right, so we're starting to come up to temperature just a little bit, and look how creamy it is. And this doesn't have any cream in it yet. We are going to add some cream, but this is just from broth, tomatoes, onions, and garlic. So if you want to add a little more depth, you could add a can of tomato paste, which I might do. I'm also going to throw in some herbs. I just picked some outside. I'm not going to take them off the stem. I'm probably just going to fish them out at the end, same with the bay leaves. But I've already pureed the whole thing, so they're fine to just sit in there. I just want it to have a whisper of that lovely herby flavor. And the next thing I'm super excited about, I've been saving all my Parmesan rinds. I cut up the rind in like maybe 5 or 6 pieces. And I'm just gonna throw them all in here. And they aren't going to melt. You're still gonna have these big cubes, but by the time the soup is done, they're gonna be soft and chewy and absolutely delicious. All right, it's continuing to simmer. It's not as dark as I'd like. I think I do want to add some more tomato flavor, so I'm gonna put a little thing of paste in there because I know I'm gonna end up adding a good amount of cream. I don't know how much. I might end up doing a cup or so. I'm not measuring it. Again, we take whisks in the kitchen. We don't have to measure everything. We just throw things together, adjust when we need to. All right, our soup has been going for maybe 20 minutes, just on a really low simmer. I'm gonna add, I don't know, whatever's in here. I would say maybe it's a cup, almost a cup and a half. Then add some salt, because that'll take you a while to kind of adjust the salt ratio, and pepper. Hopefully your tomatoes won't be very acidic. I don't think you're gonna need to add any sugar or anything like that, just a good amount of salt. Right, the soup is done. We just adjusted with salt and pepper. And that is it. Super creamy, yummy tomato soup that is great for dinner, lunch, and your freezer. So even if you don't have an immersion blender, you could just cool it off a little bit, put it in a regular blender, put it in a food processor. So either way, it'll still come out great, I'm sure. And you can also probably substitute, the heavy cream for something a little lighter. And it's really just about all your tastes and about what you want to experiment with. And that's what we do here. We take what's in the kitchen. So thank you for joining me, and we'll catch you again next time. Bye.